You know that feeling, right? Where no matter what you get, more money, more success, more followers, it's just never quite enough. There's this deeper kind of constant hunger for something else. Well, there's an ancient philosophy that says it has the answer. Not just for that feeling, but for, well, pretty much everything. And the way it lays it all out is with a logic that's surprisingly simple. So here's the journey we're going to take. We'll start with the problem itself, what we'll call the unending search. Then we'll get into the mind-blowing answer it proposes. From there, we'll see how this whole idea redefines reality, who we are in this cosmic play, and of course, the path to freedom, and how to actually live this stuff. All right, let's dive right in. We're going to start with a question that gets to the very heart of being human. It's a feeling I guarantee we've all had. We spend our whole lives chasing happiness. You know, the next promotion, the perfect relationship, the bigger house, thinking that's the thing that'll finally make us feel content. But it's always just out of reach, isn't it? This philosophy argues that our constant dissatisfaction, it's not actually a personal flaw. It's a clue, a really big clue, about who we fundamentally are. Here's the core of the problem. It's a total mismatch. We're spending our lives on a finite search, right? Chasing things like money, power, status, things you can count. But our deepest, truest longing isn't for something finite. It's for something infinite. Trying to satisfy an infinite hunger with finite things, it's like trying to fill the ocean with a teaspoon. It doesn't work. It just makes you thirstier. So, if we're all looking for something infinite, what in the world is it? The philosophy's answer to that question starts with one single core concept, and that concept is dharma. Dharma is just a thing's innate nature, you know? A fire's dharma is to burn. Water's dharma is to be wet and to flow. So what's a human's dharma? It's the search for the infinite. It's not a choice. It's baked into our very programming. It's what we do. And this infinite that we're all searching for, it has a name. It's called Brahma, the ultimate cosmic reality. The simplest way to think about it is that it has two sides. There's Purusha, which is pure, still consciousness, just the silent witness. And then there's Prakrti, which is the creative, operative energy that makes everything happen. One is the watcher, the other is the doer. So Brahma exists in two states. First, there's Nirguna. This is the pure, unbound state, just raw, limitless potential. But when that consciousness gets bound or influenced by that creative energy, it becomes Saguna Brahma. And that state, that's our universe. That's all of creation. Now, to make this make sense, the philosophy gives us this brilliant picture. Imagine Nirguna Brahma is a huge, endless ocean of pure consciousness. The creative principle, Prakrti, acts like a freezing force, and it creates a giant iceberg inside that ocean. That iceberg? That's Saguna Brahma. That's our entire universe. Just a temporary, solid-seeming form floating in an infinite, formless ocean. Okay, so if the universe is this iceberg that's formed out of pure consciousness, what does that mean for reality as we know it? This next part, this is where things get really, really mind-bending. So let's just ask the question. This world around you, is it solid? Is it real? Or is it maybe just an idea? The answer this philosophy gives is pretty radical, and it challenges basically everything we think we know about what's real and what isn't. Get this. The universe, with all its galaxies and planets and everything in it, isn't material in the way we usually think. It is a thought projection. It's an active imagination happening inside the cosmic mind. The entirety of reality is essentially a divine daydream. But wait a minute. How can an idea feel so real, so solid? The analogy they use is a magician who can make a whole crowd of people see a boy climb a rope that isn't even there. For everyone under the spell, it's totally real. They see it. But for someone outside the spell, nothing is happening. In the exact same way, we are inside Brahma's cosmic thought. And that's why to us, this world feels completely real. Okay, so if the entire universe is a thought, then who are we? Who is the I that's experiencing this whole cosmic daydream? Let's take a look at how this philosophy breaks down the self. Our mind is said to form in 3 stages. First,
consciousness creates something called Mahattattva. And this is just the pure, simple feeling, I exist. That's it. Next, that simple feeling of existence becomes aham tattva, and that's the ego, the doer I, the part of us that acts in the world. And finally, that ego creates citta, which is the mind stuff itself, the part that takes the shape of everything we see and think. So it's a flow, from pure being to doing to perceiving.
To make this crystal clear, the philosophy uses this incredible actor analogy. Our true self, our pure consciousness, is like an actor whose real name is Rama. Our ego, our personality, is the role he's playing on stage, say Shahjahan. Now, Shahjahan acts. He feels joy, he feels sorrow, he lives out the whole drama of the play. But Rama, the actor, he's just the witness. He's totally separate from the role he's playing. Okay, so for just this witnessing consciousness, kind of trapped in the role of an ego, inside a giant cosmic thought projection, then how do we get free? How do we stop just playing the part and wake up to who we really are? Well, the path is called Sadhana, which means intuitional practice. And really, it's a process of reversing that flow we just talked about. Instead of our minds constantly projecting outward onto the world, we learn how to methodically pull our attention back inward, step by step, to merge back with our true witnessing self. Now, this path might sound pretty good in theory, but let's be honest. The idea of withdrawing the mind can also sound kind of scary. Why are so many of us afraid to even try something like this? The philosophy tackles this question head-on. You know the thoughts. People start to worry, wait, does this mean I have to leave my family and my job? Do I have to give up all worldly pleasures? Do I have to become some kind of monk? They think it's only for ascetics living in a cave, or maybe something you do when you're really old and have nothing left to lose. These are the big roadblocks. But the text says these fears are completely baseless. The idea isn't to renounce everything first. The idea is to start the practice right where you are, in the middle of your life. And as you progress, that intense craving for finite things just naturally starts to fade away. Not because you're forcing it, but because you're genuinely getting satisfied by connecting with something infinite. So, what's the final destination then? Where does this path of sadhana ultimately take you? What's the end game? The goal is this state of permanent liberation called moksha. Now, there's a temporary kind of freedom, mukti, which is kind of like melting back into the iceberg of creation. But moksha is the final, total merger with the infinite ocean itself. It's a complete return to that pure, non-qualified consciousness beyond the cycle of creation for good. So, we're left with this incredibly provocative idea. Reality is a projection of consciousness. We are the witnesses, playing roles inside a cosmic thought. And if that's actually true, it gives us an unbelievable amount of power over our own minds, which leads to one final question for you. If this world is a thought, what will you think next?